Once inside, Tengen was led inside a brightly lit room with several tables and colorful paper lanterns hanging from the ceiling. Lady Yamoto will see you now, the attendant says, and Tengen thanked her as he closed the soji. He then turned to see a large middle-aged woman, maybe in her 60s, sitting in a chair. She was dressed in a black kimono and her wrinkled face was caked heavily with white makeup. Her brown/black hair styled in a tall tate hijo, and her lips painted a bright crimson as she wore smoky blue eyeshadow. Tengen couldn't help but smile wolfishly at her. So this Lady Yamoto child, whom Inuo and Ichika had warned him about. And holy cow, what a woman she was, as he gave him a cunning smirk. Make no mistake, that place will suck you dry if you're not careful. I don't know how true the rumors are, but Lady Yamoto is said to be very cunning and a greedy woman. She'll ask you questions that you must answer thoroughly without a hitch, or else you may kiss your future wife goodbye. He remembered the words Inuo told him. Welcome. Come in and have a seat, she tells him. Tengen properly did as told, taking a seat right in front of her. I was told you wanted to purchase one of my girls for a night, correct? She asks. Yes, ma'am, he nods. Good. But before we start, how do you care for a drink? She asks, just as a waitress passed him a small menu with a list of various drinks and sake. It was obvious she's testing to see just how wealthy he is. As Tengen scanned the menu, he decided to go for something not too strong and not too alcoholic, for he didn't want to get drunk and screw up his chances with Yin, despite being a high alcohol tolerance. He decided to settle for something sweet and said, I'll have I'm going to butcher this, a anisake. He says, anizuke, whether you don't imble or are too young to drink, asayuka, sweet sake, is the way to go, and it's non-alcoholic. Both handsome and has a sweet tooth. I like those odds. Very well, asayuke it is, she says, and the waitress nods before leaving to go fetch their drinks. While they waited, it was a moment Lady Yamoto decided to pass some time by asking her new customer a few questions. So, tell me, boy, what's your name? I'm familiar with lots of faces here in the red light district, but I haven't seen you around here before, she asks. Uzui Tengen, he answered truthfully. A fitting name for such a strong young man, Lady Yamoto commented. Well, young Uzui-san, are you rich? Tengen couldn't help but give a smirk. I am. Why you ask? Just curious, she replied coldly. Do you always burden your customers with a lot of questions? Tengen cocks his head to the side, his tone playful as Lady Yamoto chuckles. My boy, you must understand that we like to do things differently here in the Gurwan. You see, I've had a lot of customers in the past claiming to be someone they're not. I've always had a few runaway deadbeats who refused to pay what they owe, simply because they didn't have enough money, which is why I like to ask these questions and take time to know my customers before giving what they want, she exclaims. Ah, so that explains it. Tengen muses, but still, it sounded like she was putting her nose where it doesn't belong. I'm just sure you're not a convincing rat, she smirks, almost wickedly. I understand, but I assure you, I'm not a cheapskate. So, I won't do you dirty like them, he tells her. Oh, really? Well, if you're truly rich as you say you are, then what's your occupation? Do you have a good-paying job? She asks. Internally, Tengen knew he couldn't tell her the truth about being a demon hunter, considering most of the community didn't even know demons exist or about the Demon Slayer course to begin with. So he had to come up with something random and more mundane. I'm a milkman, he answers. He answers Lady Yamoto choked on her sake, for she wasn't expecting that kind of response. It sounded absolutely ridiculous. A milkman? She gawked. Get out of here. You can't be serious. She searched his eyes for any sign of desperation. But try as she might, the large woman couldn't tell if he's lying or not. Luckily for Tengen, Lady Yamoto takes his silence in stride, clearly believing that what he was saying was true. Oh my god. But in reality, it was as he inwardly laughed. I am. And there's no way a milkman can make so much money. Oh my god. Well, my milk is magically delicious. Tengen grins. Although there's no sexual intertone in his words, but it seems to fly over the large woman's head. Much to Tengen's hilarity. If that's the case, then you either work in high-paying dairy company, or you must be a very rich farmer, she suggests. I was born into a wealthy family of agricultural tycoons. I own acres of farmland and a highly successful dairy farm. I save every penny and spend wisely. Tengen boasts, lying his ass off. Just how old are you, if you don't mind me asking? Lady Yamoto asks. I'm 23. Really? My. I didn't expect such a wealthy milkman to be so young. You're so tall. I assumed you'd be at least older. Oh well. Things aren't as they seem, I suppose, she says, taking a drag from her Quizolar, just as a waitress came back with her drinks. Well, Uzui-san, I am convinced you are quite an interesting individual, and I hope you are ready to spend money effortlessly. No need to worry about that, ma'am. Spending money is actually my favorite pastime. Tengen grins. This pleases Lady Yamoto greatly, as the large woman soon passes a red folder. Then help yourself, she says. Upon opening it, Tengen discovered it contained photos of all the girls he'd seen in the harem, along with their names and ages. Which one would you like? She asked him. Here at the Gurwan, we have girls ages of 18 to 29, each one beautiful, well-educated, and talented. If you'd like, you can also treat yourself to a relaxing massage from our lovely massagists. You can pick as many as you like, she exclaims. Tengen hums. Sounds tempting, but no. He's here for one thing. There's only women he desired was that his lovely Yin-chan, as he couldn't help the joyous smile that crossed his lips once he spotted her photo. So, have you made up your mind, Uzui-san? Asked the large woman with a smirk on her face. If you need recommendations, Sayumi-chan is our top courtesan here. She's very exponential and is our main oiran. Thanks, but I've already made my decision, he says. Excellent. Lady Yamoto rubbed her palms together. A genuine Tengen knew so well. A woman of greed, ready to make some money. Then who will it be? She asked. With glee dancing in his eyes, Tengen gave his answer. I would like to have Yin, he chirped.